Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful and, an incredibly simple new way to understand something we all think we know: awareness. This is it, right here. Just 6 words. Awareness equals the capacity to register differences. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. That seems almost too simple, right? But stick with me on this, because this one little sentence, it holds the key to a pretty radical shift in how you experience the world around you.
So let's really think about that. What if this isn't just some clever phrase, but a truly functional, practical tool? Seriously, what if this is the only definition of awareness you will ever need? Okay, let's dive in and see.
First up, let's look at why this idea, which sounds so simple on the surface, is actually, well, incredibly profound once you start to pull back the layers.
For most of us, when we hear the word awareness, our minds go to something a little fuzzy. It feels like this mystical state, right? Something you have to achieve through hours of meditation. It's a bit abstract and kind of hard to pin down. But this definition, it does something totally different. It pulls awareness right out of the clouds and plants its feet firmly on the ground. It reframes it as a concrete, almost mechanical process. It suggests awareness isn't just something you are, it's something you actively do.
To really get our heads around this, we need to break down the 2 key pieces in our definition. We're going to start with the verb at its heart, the act of registering.
Okay, to understand what registering means here, I want you to picture something really, really simple. Just a basic light sensor, like the kind that turns on a streetlight when it gets dark. Now, the cool thing about this sensor is that it does one thing, and one thing only. It registers a single, simple difference. Is it light or is it dark? That's it. It's just a binary switch, and it's triggered by that one specific contrast.
And that brilliantly illustrates the core idea here. Your awareness is a sensor too, but instead of just detecting light versus dark, it's this incredibly sophisticated sensor for reality itself, capable of detecting millions of subtle differences all at once.
So here's the bottom line. To register is just the act of your mind detecting or taking in a difference from the world around you. It's that tiny little click, that moment something lands in your perception and becomes real to you.
Okay, so our sensor registers, but what exactly is it registering? Well, that brings us to the second and equally important half of our definition: differences.
Why are differences so fundamental? Just try to imagine a world without them, a constant, unchanging hum, a single, uniform color filling your entire vision. In a world like that, there would be nothing to perceive, right? Nothing for your awareness to even latch onto. It's the contrast, the edges, the beginnings and endings, the differences that are the very building blocks of our experience.
And as our source material puts it so perfectly, without awareness, differences don't mean anything. A difference can exist out there in the world, sure, but it only becomes part of your reality when your awareness actually actively registers it.
Think about it like this: that first sip of coffee in the morning. Why is it so amazing, so potent? It's because the difference is the greatest, the difference between the state of no coffee and the state of coffee. As you keep drinking, the new differences get smaller and smaller, and your awareness starts to register them less and less. You kind of start to tune it out.
All right, so we've looked at registering and we've looked at differences. Now, let's put them together and see the whole picture of how this mechanism is working moment by moment.
It's really just a simple 4-step loop that's constantly running in the background. First, a difference exists out in the world: a sound, a change in light, a new thought. Second, you have the capacity, the ability to notice it. Third, the instant you register it, that difference enters your awareness. And fourth, this process, repeated millions of times a second, literally builds your reality from the ground up.
So, what happens when this whole process just stalls? Well, think about driving a route you know by heart. You get to where you're going with almost no memory of the trip itself. That's autopilot mode. Your brain was working, sure, but you weren't actively registering new differences. Your sensor was basically turned way, way down. So let's look at our definition one last time. Suddenly, it doesn't seem so simple anymore, does it? It's a dynamic process. It's your capacity to tune in, to detect, and to literally build your world from the raw material of contrast.
And that brings us to the most important part of all of this. Now that we have this really powerful mental model, what do we actually do with it? What are you going to notice now?
And this right here is the real game changer. Your awareness is not some fixed thing you're born with. It's a capacity. And just like any other capacity, it can be trained.
You can consciously choose to upgrade its resolution by deciding to register more and more subtle differences around you.
And why would you want to do that? Well, because by consciously practicing this, you can be way more present. You can flick the switch and turn off that mental autopilot we all fall into. You can actually deepen your experience of reality and, literally, see the world with fresh eyes every single day. So I leave you with a direct challenge. This powerful new tool is yours to use now. What's one new difference? A sound you usually ignore, the texture of the table under your hand, the actual taste of your next meal? What's the one new difference you're going to choose to register today?